Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Haverhill Town Council Planning Committee. Before we start, I'll read the script out first. Please note that this meeting is being recorded by the Town Council and, where possible, live streamed on YouTube. Please note that the recording device is sensitive and live stream may be recorded by third parties. So do not say anything you do not want recorded. If necessary, I will direct all recording in the room and the live stream will be stopped. But generally, I want to avoid doing that. So we will normally record everything except any item taken in closed session. Members of the public may also make their own recordings, but must follow our rules for doing so, including stopping recording when requested. Whilst we do not accept anonymous speaking at the public forum, members of the public who wish to speak but do not want their name published must please indicate this before saying your piece. Thank you. Item number 1. Apologies for absence.
Chair, we have apologies from Councillor Andre and Councillor Lucarini.
Thank you. Item 2. Declarations of interest and requests for dispensation. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, non-registrable interest on item 1, List B, the landowner, the client of mine, so I'll leave the room. Yes, be discussed. So,
okay. Councillor Smith.
On the same item, I'll just say that probably non-registrable interest, I don't really think it is, but just for the sake of transparency, obviously I've shown my support both print and in word and by attending meetings of the Muck Off Reform campaign, so just like to be on record that I have supported them for the sake of transparency.
Okay, I wish to do the same, as you just said, Councillor Smith, because I've been to meetings as well. I would like to declare a non-registrable interest in this item, in item 1, item 8, application 1. As I donated £10 to the Muck Off campaign group via the GoFundMe page 2 years ago. Because of the concerns I have about this proposal, I am requesting a dispensation to take part in this debate and vote, so I can set out my concerns and hear the application response. Okay? Councillor Smith.
I propose that we allow a dispensation to stay and take full part in the meeting.
Do you want a dispensation as well?
Do I need a dispensation? I can't propose that.
You better stay, otherwise we'll just record still. It's up to you.
Right, do we leave the vote?
Yeah.
Chair, can I just make clear? Can I just get clear clarity? Because I don't have a vote, I don't need to declare dispensation, even though I've said things publicly. Is that correct?
It's entirely up to you. I mean, are you planning on speaking in the debate?
Probably, yes.
Yeah, in that case I would.
Okay.
Okay. Do I? Yeah.
But I can't propose
You
it.
can't.
Okay.
Right.
Then I'll propose that those people who expressed...
Can I have a second of that, please? Councillor Martin. All those in favour, please show. Any against? Okay, let's go. Councillor Mason? What's that?
I don't need to vote. I don't have a vote on the committee.
No.
No, it doesn't have a vote on the committee.
No, but you said you might need to just declare just for...
It has.
Yeah, not for dispensation.
And you voted for dispensation.
Oh, to let them speak, right, okay, yeah, okay. Right, we've got it clear now, we voted for you, Councillor Mason, yeah? Thank you. Right, thank you. Right, is there any other declarations now? Okay. Minutes of the previous meeting, please. Oh yes, sorry, thanks for reminding me. Right, can I sign this as a true record, please? Proposed by Councillor Martin, can I second it? Councillor Cox, second. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. to be the minutes, please? Have a look before we get on to item 4. Okay.
Yeah, I've just asked.
Okay.
That was technical.
Next page. Strongly object to that one. $51. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Item 4, matters arising from those minutes.
I think there's a misspelling of my name. I thought I saw a D. Smithy up there. I think that's what's somewhere at the beginning.
So we're being informal then. We'll get that replaced.
Yes, that's a D. Smudge.
Yes. Right, we're going straight to number 8 as we've got members of the public here. Is that okay with the committee? Yeah? Yeah? There's no, is there? Okay, thank you.
I'll call it back.
Okay, this is application 1, which is SCC 0045 23 SE. It's a reconsultation, construction and operation of an anaerobic digestion facility, associated infrastructure and new access road, connecting pipeline and covered digestate lagoons. And this is Acon Bioenergy Limited. This is land on the north of Spring Grove Farm, Withersfield. Okay, members of, I will invite members of the public who wish to address the committee in relation to the planning application to speak at the head of the committee, considering each application in turn.
Me?
Yes, please.
Right. So, Mark Bowman, I'm here on behalf of the Muck-Off Acorn. I'm a Haverhill resident, by the way. So, you all know that this is come back to the reconsultation stage now following the submission of the Regulation 25 additional information requested from Acorn. So, just as a bit of a prelude, Muck-Off Acorn is a group. We've read through all the documents, we've gone through it with a fine-tooth comb, and I think the phrase new information might be a little bit of an exaggeration. There's quite a lot of filler in there, but at the end of the day, it's the conclusions to so much of it, almost all of it, is that Acorn don't have to make any material changes to much of their existing application. The changes that they have made are minor and probably to their advantage anyway. Certainly not addressing all of the points of concern from Muck-Off Acorn and residents, and also some that we've seen from council members. It's not a long list, so please, I'm just going to take a bit of time. I think it's worth just focusing on one or two points, if you don't mind. It's not a complete list, but if we just look at traffic, for starters, the latest submission from Acorn claims that their sites will create less than 1% additional traffic on the A1307. The first point probably to make is that they've counted all traffic movements at all time of day, and they've used some peak times as well, but they've counted all traffic movements. So that's cars, lorries, vans, HGVs, tractors. we all know that the vehicles coming into the site will be HGV and farm tractors. So it makes far more sense really to have them counted the increase in those particular types of vehicles, because they're slow moving, they take up a lot of space, and they just are kind of a bit of an inconvenience on the roadway anyway. If you did that, you'd probably see that there's a good 10% increase in traffic of those particular types of vehicles. Now, everyone knows that the A1307 is a dangerous road, it's classified as a red route, but Acorn have chosen only to use the traffic accident data from a very specific area around the entrance from Silver Street onto the A1307 and then towards the entrance to the site that they're proposing. Then they go on to say that there's going to be traffic arriving from all points of the compass, from the south east and west, and that it's going to use all of the highways that approach Haverhill from all of those directions, but yet they've only chosen to highlight the accidents recorded by a very specific part of the A1307. Acorn have avoided using a full traffic assessment by claiming that this cannot be done due to a lack of surveyed sites. They don't really know exactly what that means, but what it has allowed them to do is use a far less robust method to assess the impact of the traffic arriving at their site. And that assessment, strangely, suits their application far more than the objections. It's interesting that the new site plan that is in the new information does actually show an additional entrance by way of a gate to the north of the site, which wasn't there before. Now, assuming that that is going to be an operational access point, Acorn should have provided a traffic assessment to that access point, which by default, because it's to the north, there will be traffic arriving mainly from the north, northeast and northwest. They will approach via the site, but there's no traffic plan. Acorn have provided no traffic plan or traffic assessment to go with that access point. It will certainly be the main access point for the farm vehicles, that's for sure. And they go on to say these farm vehicles would be arriving by tracks mainly. However, we know that from the documents, Acorn are going to source approximately 30% of their feedstock from the Thurlow estate. Now, all of the farm tracks locally are owned by the Thurlow estate, which means that any other farm vehicles arriving from any other farm that they don't own have got to travel on their land. They've got to give permission to those farms to use their tracks and their land, which seems unlikely. The data about the number of trips is interesting as well. They talk about the number of trips. However, what they failed to do is identify that these trips are not one way. It would appear that their data seems to suggest that the traffic arrives on site and then somehow miraculously leaves the site to go back to its original destination. So it's actually a two-way trip, but they've only described one-way trips. And they actually quote the figure of 9,876 trips. In reality, it's going to be 19,121. That is just a huge number of additional vehicles on the road. They claim that vehicles will be arriving every 4 minutes. Now, every 4 minutes would be highly unlikely that we could manage that anyway, but if they did arrive at every 4 minutes, in other words, every 4 minutes a vehicle arrives. But how is that possible? That's never going to happen. Vehicles will arrive 2 every 8 minutes, 1 every 2 minutes, 3 every 12 minutes. They won't arrive at exact intervals of 1 every 4 minutes, which means we're going to have queuing. We're going to have heavy goods vehicles, we're going to have traffic with farm tractors and trailers, and they will not be arriving every 4 minutes. They'll be arriving whenever it suits them to arrive, whenever the local traffic dictates. So they can't control that. The other thing that plays into is the fact that Acorn said they don't need to build an additional ghost right-hand turn into the sites because the traffic will only be arriving every 4 minutes and there'll only be 9,800 traffic movements. Not double that, and not the possibility, excluding the possibility, that they might not arrive every single 4 minutes. So they've said they don't need to build, they don't need to construct a ghost right-hand turn because there won't be any queuing. That's fairly convenient and only works if it's 1 every 4 minutes and there's only 9,600 traffic movements. So the other little point I just want to make is they talk about screening as well in their document, saying that the site won't be visible from the main traffic routes, particularly A1307 and other routes as well, and from other public access areas. Well, actually, this is a bit of an interesting one because Acorn have used in their screening description land and trees and hedges that they don't own. Those particular strips of land are not owned, sorry, not owned by Acorn, they wouldn't be owned by Acorn, they're not owned by the Furlough estate. They're outside of the boundaries that have been drawn by Acorn, and those trees and hedges, particularly the large standing popular trees on the A1307, have a very limited life. They should probably be taken down within the next 5 to 10 years. Which means no screening at all, which means visibility from the A1307, and that's just from the A1307. You get the same from Silver Street because the back of the site is owned by the Coveys, who, by the way, are the people that are developing the other anaerobic digestion plant at Street the End. So it will be visible. And just on that point as well, in all of their new documents, apart from the noise report, which was specifically asked by the council to include the Street the End Farm AED facility, which has been permitted, Acorn failed to mention in all of their additional information, they do not make any reference to the Street the End facility that is now being permitted by Cambridgeshire. And that's quite telling because then you get to look at where Acorn is saying all their feedstock is going to come from. And previously they've said 30% of it's coming from the Furlough estate. And you look at their reference map within a 10-mile radius and you can see that there's a chunk that's coming from the Furlough estate, but then there's also a significant amount that's supposed to be coming from the north and the northwest, which is obviously the area that is going to put also some kind of burden on the Street the End facility as well. So there will be competition from this feedstock, and what that means is that Acorn will do one of two things. They will look further afield for their feedstock, because the other thing that's worth saying as well is that they don't specify any of the farms within that 10-mile catchment that they have any contractual agreement with for any volume of feedstock at all. They don't detail that at all, those details are not provided, so there's no guarantee of feedstock. Street the End Farm are going to take feedstock from wherever they can as well, and it's going to be in competition with the Acorn site. So, inevitably, that will mean that unless lots of land is given over just to this feedstock, Acorn will have to look further afield, further than the 10-mile radius that they currently state for their feedstock if they're going to feed this land. They have another alternative. If they can claim that they cannot get sufficient feedstock to feed this monster that they've built, there is another opportunity for them. They could possibly convert to food waste processing. Now, Acorn claim this is almost impossible for them to do, but that, I'm afraid, is an outright lie. It's a very basic application, which you guys would probably appreciate. It's a change from one process to another. And okay, it would cost them money in terms of reconfiguring their plant. But that's just money that it takes to do that. The only thing in Acorn's view, in their documents, that's stopping them doing that is an agreement that they have made with the landowner where the landowner will not permit them a change of use to food waste. The problem with that is the landowner could change his mind. And when that happens, we won't have an anaerobic digester, and we won't be worrying about maize, and we won't be worrying about chicken slurry. We'll be worrying about food waste coming from all parts of the county and further afield. And that creates far more risks for our local environment than the AD plant itself. So, the other thing that they are conveniently trying to ignore is the fact. So, in the documents they talk about alternative sites, and when you look at the alternative sites, the only site, so they include Springrove Farm when they do the assessment of the sites, the only site that is prone to any kind of flooding at all is Springrove Farm. The other three sites that they've said that they've looked at never flood. They've never flooded. And you look at the flood maps and you can see that there's zero risk attached to the other 3 sites that they've supposedly assessed. They're building a pipeline. They call it a virtual pipeline, but it's not a virtual pipeline. It's a pipeline, it's dug, it's buried underground, and it will pump digestate from Springrove Farm all the way up to Cadgenwood, where the digestate lagoons are placed. It's very obvious when you look at the other locations that the best solution, by far the best solution, we don't build a pipeline, build a road. Build an access road through to some of the main roads, they are B roads, but B roads that already exist in that environment. We all know the jelly warehouse is up there, the furniture warehouse is up there, the grain stores are up there. There's HGV movements going to that area constantly. So those areas already facilitate the movement of HGV tractor vehicles. An access road that takes it through to one of those more accessible B roads from one of the other sites makes so much more sense than a pipeline buried underground pumping digestate. Because you can repair a road when it fails, we all know, we all see it every day, that's a failed road. You can repair that. This pipeline's going to be underground. If it fails, it's going to be leaking digestate into the local soil, into the local groundwater, and nobody will know unless they're monitoring every single metre of it, and they won't. So flooding is an issue, absolutely it is, and there's a lot more data about flooding if you care to look. I'm sure that you already have, to be honest. I do apologise if I'm already preaching to the converted. But I would like you just to take these points on board, and I'm sure they'll get forwarded on. Just the last thing from me is Acorn have, in my view, the audacity to talk about an economic benefit to Haverhill. I find that a little bit insulting, because they talk about raised levels of employment during construction, and then they talk about being able to employ local tradespeople. Well, an AD site is a highly technical plant that needs to be built to the highest standards, and I don't offer any detrimental comment to the tradespeople in Haverhill at all. But this is a specialist technical plant. It will be built by specialist technical construction workers and construction companies. With all due respect to the guys in Haverhill, these are not really the type of skills that we have in Haverhill. So they will be brought in. Yes, there will be some, of course there will be some, but the vast majority of it is going to be contractors who will build this plant to the standards as it might be expected, and it's very specialised. When it's operational, there'll be 5 additional full-time staff. 5. I could say, big deal, because in my view, the 60 people that work at the epicentre, if 6 of them choose to go and work somewhere else, that's already a negative number. And I believe actually the epicentre will suffer far more than just 6 job losses. It will suffer loss of business. It will suffer the businesses that are already there relocating. And let's face it, if they're going to relocate, they're not going to relocate within Haverhill with that thing on the doorstep. So we will lose that business. So to claim additional economic benefit by way of full-time staff, other people being employed, the business that this is going to bring to the area, it does not stack up at all. It's an absolutely, it's atrocious that they should be allowed to claim that. That's my view, that's Mark of Acorn's view as well. So I think I'm just going to leave you with those thoughts.
Thank you very much for keeping it short, because as we've seen, it's absolutely enormous piece of stuff that they've given us to read, and you've kept it very short, and thank you for that.
So, Pat, is it okay if I leave one of these with you guys?
Yes, please, yeah. Do you want to share someone? Yes. Can you?
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I'll make sure Colin will get Right, thank you. Right, does anyone else from the public want to speak on this at all, on this application?
Well, what I could say, Chair, I think that the council must give this careful consideration, and of course, you've got to take all the factors that I'm concerned that they'll be going against certain things. So I think that I know that you all will take it into consideration and possibly say no to this development.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, any councillors? Councillor Burns.
I mean, I will keep mine short. The Ghost Lane is an interesting thing. Over on the A143 at Ixworth, about 5-6 years ago, we wanted to do an offshoot for 150 housing estate by Persimmon. We wanted to build off the roundabout, and made logical sense. County Highway said absolutely no way we would have 5 prongs off a roundabout, but we will insist on a ghost lane on the 143, which is actually a very long straight bit of road if you've ever driven that bit of road by Ixworth. No bends on it like the 1307, and they demanded there had to be a ghost lane, which Persimmon were not happy about doing. Quite correctly, we wanted a roundabout, made more sense. Actually off the existing roundabout. Because they said it's a 60-mile-an-hour road and we're going to have queuing traffic trying to cross, or queuing in the main road, which we can't have on a 60-mile-an-hour road. So if there is any suggestion of queuing, and I understand, I mean, you're right about the traffic figures. You could argue one way or the other about whether you include just HGVs or not, but it's not so much the number of vehicles, it's the speed those vehicles are doing, and also what distance there is between vehicles. I do collect this data myself at other locations, and that's quite important. How many vehicles pass a particular point every 5 minutes is what they normally work on. So that's an interesting point you made there. The employment side of things, I agree with you totally. You think about our housing developments in town, the vast majority of people who are working on those sites are not local. They're brought in. Yes, they live local while they're doing the construction, but when they finish, they're gone. All the groundworks people are not local, the builders are not local, and in fact many local trades are saying it's a real shame that we can't get an oar in to actually do some of this work. So I think you're right, and at the end of the day, the construction will be one thing, and that will all happen very quickly. And you're going to have 5 people working it who probably will need to be qualified in some way, whether it's being able to do scientific analysis of something, make sure it's not getting too gassy or whatever they do with these things. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Smith?
Yeah, thanks a lot, Councillor. It's clearly, we've said it once, we've said it 100 times, it's the wrong place for this thing, this monstrosity on the entrance into our town. I feel it's taken a year basically to respond to the 70-odd questions that were put to them. I find it quite insulting that they come back with only a handful of answers, but basically they're not planning to change anything at all. It's an insult to our residents, I believe, and they're very, very involved with this. We've got a play school just down the road, which is going to suffer from this. Children won't be able to play outside probably, with the stink that's going to be coming from it. Food waste, possibly a change in food waste is a big concern of mine, because as has been said, the amount of competition for silage, whether it's going to this, there's not going to be enough of it locally. And they're going to go, I reckon they're going to have to go sort of like 50-mile radius, not 10-mile radius. And I'm fully in favour of what we're bringing in with the roadside food waste collections, but that's got to go somewhere. In our recent visit to the incinerator over at Ipswich, they can't cope with it there because they're not set up for that sort of thing. So it's got to go somewhere. And chances are they're probably going to make more money here by burning food waste than they could ever do by burning silage. So that is a big concern for me. And to say it's a benefit of the environment, with all the comings and goings of the vehicles, it's just a greenwash really, isn't it? Another thing was pointed out was the fact that when they take the gas away, it could be any time of day or night. So, 24-hour day operation. So that's again, can be a nuisance to local residents. Light pollution, again, another thing. I really think that we should object to this in the strongest possible terms.
Thank you. Councillor Cox, and then councillors. Martin.
Trying to
Councillor.
read through the amount of objections. It looks as though there's way over 200 that have come alongside this, at least that I've seen. It shows the.
You can put a note at the end of that.
Yeah. It was from what I was going through, and obviously the things that I'm picking up, which have been mentioned, which I appreciate. The issue, the economic side, I think actually that could have a bigger impact against us as an economic growth. It would be something that could send us back. I mean, reading through some of the objections, there are businesses that have stated that should it come, they would leave the epicentre because it would not be a positive thing. People are worried about house prices and whether it could damage that, and there's no foretelling one way or another. The smell, even though I've heard them say, oh no, it wouldn't be too bad, there was one complaint that said he drives past one, Bygrave, and he drives past and on occasions the smell is incredibly bad. And I think the fact that if they want to suggest that the smell won't be a problem, I think they need to think again. And it doesn't mean it has to be bad every day, but if it's bad regularly, then that's just going to have an impact, and it's going to impact on businesses. You've got the White Horse that is very concerned. That will be a pub that wouldn't be able to survive the smell. You've got the people living by the epicentre and the flying shuttle, they'll be affected by that. And I think, again, there's no mention of how hideous it will, well, we have said how hideous it will look. I think it's been mentioned, light pollution, that's been mentioned, an objection of what's that's going to cause. And there's not a single positive for this town for this, not a single positive. The fact that we're not going to gain anything from it, it's going to be taken elsewhere. I would agree with Councillor Smith. I would want to object it in every way possible. I think it's an insult to the people of Haverhill.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. I don't intend to rehash all the things that have been said by Councillor Smith and Councillor Cox. Enough to say that Acorn think that this will be a benefit to this town. In actual fact, it will have the direct opposite effect. This proposed site was never designated in the local plan for industrial development. It's just the wrong place. It's totally unacceptable to have this on a main entrance to our town. Residential development, all the other things that go to give character to our town. It's also on a floodplain. Now we've seen over many, many years, and I saw it my years on the planning committee and St Edmundsbury, there were a few developments that happened around Bury St Edmunds on floodplains, and it was disastrous because within a very short space of time the development was flooded. It should not be on a floodplain. I know this area particularly well. I walk it with dogs and it's frequently underwater. I worry about seepage getting into the river system. We have brooks, we have the Stour. We've seen before how a small leakage from an industrial unit has poisoned all the fish within that river within a very short space of time. To me, this is absolutely awful. It shows total disrespect to our town, and I support everything that has been said. Thank you, Mark, for bringing all those
Can I just chip in at that point, if you don't? Is that okay?
What's that? Is it a point of...
No, I just wanted to, well, two things. First of all, just to let the committee know that on this Friday, between 10 and 12 in the morning, there's going to be a drop-in centre. There's going to be a drop-in at St Mary's Church, where we're just going to welcome people and assist with any information providing that we can, whether that be objections or otherwise. So we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing that on Friday morning.
What time?
It's 10 o'clock till 12 o'clock. I'd certainly welcome any support, but secondly, I'd also ask if you could let any of your constituents know that would like to attend. We'd be more than happy to welcome them and talk them through any changes in the application, anything that they might want to say about it, for or against, but certainly I'd be happy to welcome them.
Okay, thank you. That's information which is
Yeah.
okay. Right. Councillor Mason.
Thank you, Chair. There are issues such as the ghost lane that can be conditioned when it goes to county. If the planning committee, for some reason, felt that the highways issue was sufficient, they could condition that. I'm particularly interested in the things that can't be conditioned. One pertains to the locality. Councillor Martin talks about local plan, and there is actually a sub-county council minerals and waste plan. And under WP3, it talks about anaerobic digestion and also planning considerations for having an anaerobic digester. So first thing is, it doesn't appear, the site doesn't appear on the minerals and waste local plan at Suffolk County Council. Now, there is scope for a farm to put an anaerobic digester next to its own farm buildings in close proximity.
For its own use.
Now, be under no illusions, this site is 12 hectares big, 15 football pitches. It is a stretch by anyone's imagination that this qualifies under that condition, and I personally think that is reason alone to throw this application out, and I think we should be making that point very strongly to the planning committee on that alone, on that one issue alone. Had they done a pre-app, which is clearly, I don't think they would have done, they would have been told that this is open countryside, it's not within, it isn't within the boundary, settlement boundary, and it, for example, had it been previously a car yard or some other industrial facility, there may be some pre-existing use of that land, but that land is good farming land. Spring Grove isn't an active farm, and to put a massive industrial facility goes way beyond WP3, which, for example, in Germany, you've got 3 farms and you put an anaerobic digester in the middle and they will benefit by its use. Works perfectly well. This is a colossal site. The other thing about conditioning that I've just remembered, that of course a condition could be made by the planning committee that that it couldn't be used, food waste couldn't be used, and that would be taken out of the hands of the landowner. Of course, any condition can be superseded. You know, there can be a further application down the line, and I'm particularly concerned that the desire to want to put it on a gas main is a prelude to wanting to go to food waste. So for me, the local.
Sorry.
No. The locality is a huge issue. I also find it mildly insulting the way that they propose their alternate sites, and there was so much wrong with the site that they ended up choosing, and that actually the one up near the airfield would have been absolutely perfect. And I think it is disingenuous for them to propose those sites and then stick with the one at Spring Grove. You've already mentioned, Mr. Bowman, that the anaerobic digester at Streetley Hall Farm hasn't been considered. And I think there's a cumulative impact upon the A1307 that hasn't been considered. And I am frankly horrified. I can't see how this can proceed without some assessment of how the Streetley Hall Farm traffic, and this one is going to impact upon the A1307. And again, for that massive emission, in my opinion, disqualifies it from really being what it shouldn't be considered. Okay, that's just on locality alone. Now, anaerobic digesters are a legitimate business, and the environmental agency will have safeguards in place to ensure that any excess water is treated before it goes back into the Stour Brook. For me, I'm astounded that they seem to suggest in their sequential test for flooding that water storage isn't going to be an issue. 15 football pitches, all concrete based. How are they going to store the colossal amount of waters with these increasingly heavy rainfalls? How many Olympic-sized swimming pools are you going to need to store that? And then what are you going to do with it? Obviously you're going to have to treat it and then it goes back in the Stour Brook. But there'll come a point, at some point in the future, and I think it's entirely predictable, that there'll be so much rainfall that they won't be able to cope, and it will, eutrophication, nitrates and phosphates will go into the Stour Brook and wash all the way through. And of course, the Stour Brook has leisure facilities in East Town Park, and indeed the people in Sturmer are horrified by this as well. And of course, the Stour Brook extends through the county, affecting everywhere else. So I think eutrophication is highly likely at some point in the future. If this application has got no business being anywhere near a watercourse. Sorry, bear with me a second. Highways. I'm astounded they didn't put in a ghost lane, but as I said, I think that could be conditioned of planning. 1%, there's less than 1%. One vehicle movement in every 100. Well, along that road, 100 vehicles takes no time to actually pass. And when you look at the acceleration of vehicles, heavy goods vehicles, and how long it takes them to get up to speed, I find it astonishing. And even turning into the site, they're going to be sat in the middle of a road waiting for a gap in the traffic at certain times. Queuing is almost inevitable. Queuing would be inevitable even with a ghost lane, in my opinion. The pig slurry, chicken slurry is coming from great distances. The gases are being bottled and being transported to Milton Keynes. There's nothing green about this. This is purely an industrial endeavour, which is way beyond its site. The last thing I'd like to talk about is residual impact. Okay, so everyone's concerned about odour. The lasting impact, Suffolk County Council will use their own independent company that will assess the levels of odour that will come from this anaerobic digester. The Epicentre have produced their own, suggesting it will be a significant problem. Acorn have produced theirs, saying that it will be no problem. In many respects, it's immaterial because Suffolk County Council will have their own and will provide their own data for the planning committee. For me, any amount of odour is unsatisfactory. So whether it is a lot or whether it is a little, if you're eating your fish and chips, it is going to have a residual impact upon the business of the flying shuttle. You're not going to want to sit outside and eat your fish and chips. What level of odour are you willing to put up with whilst you eat your fish and chips? None. You're not going to want to smell any of that. What level of odour do you, as a parent, want your children to smell if they go to the Montessori school? Zero. We've got a space next to the Epicentre designed for a second such building. We want that to be a gateway for business, for it to be employable. You know, the anaerobic digester will employ 5 people. I originally thought it was 6, it's now only 5. It will employ 5 people. The site where the Epicentre is, it's not just one building. We would like there to be a second Epicentre and for the entrance into Haverhill to be a thriving business place on the gateway into Haverhill, providing the opportunities for employment. The residual impact of having this anaerobic digester in this location, I think will be devastating for that local economy and the local businesses. That's all I want to say. There's more, but I'll stop there.
Thank you, Councillor Mason. Councillor Smith.
I'll keep it brief. Just one point brought up is the fact that this is producing a flammable gas, and there have been instances where plants like this were struck by lightning and exploded. I think Avonmouth was one example. That'd be bad enough. Just think of another thing like a Buncefield explosion. Just think how bad that could be. I don't think we should be looking at conditions. We should be a downright, an outright refusal or objection. You know, we don't want to give them any excuse where they may get away in. Okay, this should be outright objection, no questions. Obviously, we've got to give reasons why, but we don't want to give them. We may on certain circumstances.
There are plenty of reasons.
Thank you. Yeah, I've got a couple of points. That area, and I was talking to the landowner at the meeting, we, years ago, because I've been councillor here since 1998, and that part, the landowner that owned that area, that the epicentre is built on, did not want housing on there. And the councillors at the time didn't want housing on there because it was the main area, the main thoroughfare coming from the main M11 and what have you to get into the town. And to have this absolute monstrosity, and this is why I've been really against it for 2 years or more, coming into our beautiful town and seeing that is just going to ruin our town, ruin it for every single person living in the town in one way or the other. And I've completely been against it ever since, and this is why, as I say, I'll contribute to the fund, to the GoFundMe fund. The noise as well, we've got to take into consideration as well, because people that live by it, the children that's been mentioned in the nursery and the smell, but the noise as well, when you think of all the lorries going in, the actual, what they call them, the ones that pick up all the muck and put it into the digestate, what are they called? the scoop, yeah, the scoopers. When they reverse, they're doing that reversing noise all the time, and they'll be working 24/7. So you'll have that noise constantly. So that's another thing as well, and obviously the noise from the lorries, and there's another noise that would be, and that would be the burn off. If anyone that has gone past a refinery, they have burn offs, and the noise from them are absolutely unbelievable. And these will have burn offs because of the methane it gives out. Another thing, methane as well, near a nursery. I know that they burn it off, but will they burn all the methane off in the air? And that's the thing that we've got to think of as well. The silage that will be there. The silage will only be covered by polythene sheets. And that's going to, because they're not going to come straight in and put it straight into the tanks that are covered. They're going to put them on the side and cover it up with sheets. So you'll have the smell from that as well. That won't be only covered by a sheet. The smell will get away from that in any case. So they're my points, and really now if no one else wants to talk on this, then Councillor Burns?
Very quickly.
Right.
Talking about smell. 30 odd years ago, I don't know if any of you remember Bumpstead Road, the bottom of Bump by the Arches. The massive amount of smell that was there,
That's right.
caused by a very small pipeline that they assured everyone would never happen. And in the end, they had to put that pumping unit on the corner of the road there to ensure that that smell never came up to the drains and everything as it was going towards the sewage farm, and that was primarily caused by industrial waste coming down from the thing. Not dangerous kind of waste, but it was there. I mean, that was 30 odd years ago, and it was awful when you walked around there.
Yeah, many complaints.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah,
And
I
this
remember
is,
that.
compare the size of that little hut, which is probably about that big, compared to what this site is. So, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Smith again?
So I'd just like to propose then that we object to this application,
Strongly.
taking strongest terms, taking into consideration everything that's been discussed this evening, both by Mark, Councillors and here tonight. So
Second by Councillor Cox. Okay. All those in favour, please show. Yeah, that's carried. Right, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Chair, just on that, so obviously a lot of the things that were said, I think particularly Councillor Mason made the points that kind of covered what everybody else has said. So are you happy for me to pick up from what Councillor Mason said, in particular, and then fill in any gaps in anything else anyone said that wasn't already covered?
as long as it says what we want to say.
Yeah, is everyone satisfied with Councillor Mason, what he said? Yes? Yeah, want that included, yeah? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, right, thank you very much. Right, thank you very much, Mark, for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I was going to
One of my Johns is a bit Thank you. Okay, next application is application 2, DC 250156 LB. Internal alterations to create offices and meeting rooms. And this is Adams Harrison Solicitors, 39 High Street. Is there any comments on this?
Document number 5.
Oh, do you want to go back to number 5?
No, no, it's not me, but I'm just saying.
Well, I thought we'd get number 8 out of the way and then go back to number 5, if that's all right, because that's...
That's your choice.
Is that all right? Right.
Just mention it. No, sorry.
Councillor Cox.
Looking at the stuff, I couldn't see anything to necessarily object unless anybody could find, was there anything in there that actually had any historical value? I couldn't see anything that suggested that.
No.
Councillor Burns and Councillor
If you look at the 1952, I think it was, listing, 1972, anyway, 52 or 72, the whatever English heritage were called at that time, basically said Barclays Bank had destroyed the inside. And remember, the building at the back was never part of the bank originally when they bought it, but it's classified as listed because it's attached to that building, and they knocked the wall down. They put the ATM machine in the side with no planning permission, all that sort of stuff. So the only bit there's any use is the front bit. There we go. No features earlier than 1908 there. You found it, thank you.
Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Right. Councillor Smith, then Councillor Martin.
No, I don't want to. I just wanted to
Oh,
know.
Councillor Smith.
Do we know if against Harrison use this for their own? You know, I just wondering if that's going to leave the empty across the road. They just. Do we know if they're doing it for themselves? They are moving in, so that's good. Okay. What was I going to say? I think I noticed when I was going to ask you, it was Saturday, they were already working on the windows.
Yeah.
So they've already made a start.
No. Different application.
Different applications. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, they said they've done the windows.
Other than that,
We're doing
I
that.
haven't got a real problem with this at all.
Right. You
I'll propose
You propose neutral? Neutral? Right. Can I have a second then? Councillor Martin? Right, all those in favour of neutral? Thank you. Application 3, DC 250188, VAR. Variation of condition 2 of DC 240579 FUL. And this is Mr. Thomas Fox Davis, 10 Homefield Road. And this is a change of battery type, I think. Councillor Smith.
My understanding is basically just a change of the cabinet. Is not just a different manufacturer. Other than that, is basically the same thing again. So there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Any more comments? No? Can I propose a neutral then, please? Councillor Martin, second. Councillor Smith. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. Application 4, which is DC 25-0187 HA. First floor side and rear extension. This is Mr. and Mrs. Dye, 79 Downs Crescent. This is extension from 3-bed to a 4-bed.
Is that roof?
Yeah.
Which one? The left one. Yeah.
Can you sort of get to the front of it?
No,
No.
it's a tree away.
It's a big site, isn't it?
I was just seeing the parking. I think there's adequate parking. I've seen up there on that side of the road. Yeah.
It's a nice site.
Okay. Anything else? Councillor Smith?
Cumulative impact with the one we discussed, the one next door, didn't we, last time? 77. That's, it's right against the boundary. I was worried about I know there's not any overlooking because there's no windows on that side. But is there like shadow or something? I'm trying to get so that's north. So any I don't know, something
Can you get that?
Well, it is directly south of its main.
Oh, is it south? Right.
So it will cast a shadow, but obviously
it's already a
it's
shadow.
behind the
Yeah.
existing building. So that casts a shadow.
Oh, yeah.
So something underneath it isn't going to cast anything bigger. But that'll be down to these people to complain.
Yeah.
Do we have neighbours' comments anymore?
No.
Well, not this one.
Well, not
Ever?
but we have had them lots.
We used to have lots
Yeah.
in my day.
So go for yeah, that's all we've got.
Right. Okay. Councillor Cox?
I was just to say proposed neutral.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I have a second for neutral, please? I'll second that. All those in favour, please show. Thank you very much. Right. Back to item 5, which is 23-01994, Woodlands Hotel. Now this application we are considering tomorrow at 7:15.
We're not.
Oh, it's
Braintree.
Oh, Braintree are. Oh, right. Right, sorry. I thought we were. Right, okay. This is they're going to do it at 7:15. Right. Because I haven't got it on the agenda saying it's Braintree, so I thought it was us. Okay. Councillor Smith and then Councillor Brown.
I think all we can do is know this because any opportunity to actually speak on this is past now. I think they're to be registered by Friday. So, yeah, whatever happens.
Councillor Brown.
Yeah, I was happy to see the documents that Suffolk County Council, Highways and West Suffolk and themselves have obviously reiterated the importance of having that path, a proper path, a 2 metre wide path linking it to the Roanway estate. A lot of people that work or visiting, etc., will be coming from town, so we need there is a sort of path that wends its way there, but it's a made up path. It goes behind trees. It's not suitable at all for wheelchair access or anything like that. It's a sort of pathway that it's a track really that you can use in the sun in good weather. So I was pleased to see that, and hopefully that will carry the weight necessary, and that will be conditioned.
Am I right? You suggested that when it came up before?
Yeah, originally, but I say it's come back quite a few times. Every time we've been given the opportunity, we always said the same thing. That the rest of it, to me, all looks very good. It'd be a good asset to the town. It's a pity that they didn't keep to the original brief that there was going to be a cafe and such like. No, exactly. But yeah, to be fair, we are where we are, and yeah, me personally, I just really hope that they get that path in. Yeah, it's a proper lit path. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Councillor Brown. Councillor Burns.
Yeah, as Councillor Brown said, you know, it's a scandalous that he let this historic building for various, I know it's not listed, but you know, it's got history behind it. West Suffolk allowed it to just degrade so much. You know, we all told them about it, Tony and myself, numerous times, but they just ignored us. So the only way to, you know, the roof gone and everything, the only way to do anything was to knock it down, which was not the plan originally. And as I said, I've said before about it was supposed to be a family restaurant side of things there for the country park. They just ignored us totally on that. I do quite like the fact that they're gonna, looks like they're gonna condition the footpath thing. I laugh at the fact it's on a bus route. Yeah, really. Number 14, 15 occasionally goes to Bury. There's no bus stops there or anything like that. So, you know, and also they say that, oh, there's going to be less traffic than there was when there was a restaurant there. I'm not so certain about that. But anyway, that's fine. So yeah, I'm quite pleased about this. You know, it's a Braintree tomorrow night. It should be online if anyone wants to watch it.
Thank you very much. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say, we did discuss at one stage, because John Vinter Gertin lived there, and he was a pilot in the Battle of Britain and sadly lost his life. We asked if there could be a little plaque or something in the new building just to memorialise, you know, him. He actually lived there, so.
Are they going to do that?
We did ask, so hopefully if we can bring it up again during the construction.
Okay. Be good. Anyone else? No? Okay. Can I have a proposal then, please?
It's just a motion.
It's noted, sorry. Right. Okay, item 6, land west of Falconer Road. To note, this is a note again, appeal made to the Secretary of State against enforcement notice issued by Suffolk County Council. Councillor Smith and then Councillor Byrne.
Yeah, this is an unauthorised waste disposal site, isn't it? It's been back there. I'm glad to see that it's subject to enforcement notice, so yeah, all good.
Thank you. Councillor Burns, then
I was
Councillor
only going to
Mason.
say very similar. I think it was, you know, colleagues here who brought it up, and then Councillor Andre as well. I laugh at the reason they're going to appeal is that, well, give us planning permission and we'll do it. And, you know, that's not the whole purpose of doing something. It may not be a suitable site, and you know, where's all the waste going and all this sort of stuff. But you know, that's their only grounds for appeal. So it'll be interesting to see what County Council do about this. Thank you. Sorry.
Okay, Councillor Mason.
I was just going to briefly say that it did come across my desk. I passed it on to Councillor Roach, who then approached the County Council. So thanks to Councillor Roach for progressing this. I'm astounded. I think it's got some nerve actually wanting to contest it, and it's been a blight on our neighbourhoods. And I'd be horrified if they had their appeal upheld. It'd be appalling, but yeah, that's all I want to say.
Thank you.
Chair, do we want to write to the planning inspector at all, reiterate anything you said, or do we want to ask that they hold any inquiry is actually back, they hold it here in Haverhill or not in the Endeavour House?
Yeah. Please, yeah. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, I'd like to formally propose that. I think it'd be a very good idea, because I know a lot of the businesses in that area that have been affected by that would like to have a say on that. So, yeah, I think that'd be a terrific idea.
Thank you very much, Colin, for that. But can I have a seconder for Councillor Brown? Councillor Martin, I'll sort first. All those in favour, please show. Yeah, it's carried. Right, thank you. Item 7. Members of the public to speak on planning matters other than the applications that we've done before.
I'd just like to report a massive pothole, Chair, on Dudley Road, going up to, it's about 100 and just over 100 metres from the petrol station on the right hand side going up. This is a massive thing, as if the road is collapsing. And if a car hits it, it could cause a lot of damage to the vehicle or a cyclist. And I think that it appears that it needs the attention of highway to, they should cone it off and put some sign there to actually warn driver of it. It's dangerous, I'm telling you now. So if any one of you gentlemen want to take a walk up there and look, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I tell you, it is
huge.
Yeah, it is huge, I tell you. It nearly caught me up today coming back from the doctor, I tell you, it really is massive. Right? And I thought it's been there for weeks. I don't understand how anyone hasn't, if this hasn't been reported and somebody, but I tell you, it needs to be looked at and put some cone around it and even a light at night as well. Yeah, so that's my take on it. And secondly, from Stemmer Bridge entering like going to Stemmer, the first cottage on the left, which is a house, that road which has been start collapsing there, where it's been done before, and it's need looked at again because yeah. So I think that the people who are doing this work, they're not underpinning the structure underneath properly to reinforce it properly from happening. So therefore, a constant vehicle moving like heavy load vehicle, pushing it down until it starts popping up, and so.
Is that in Sturm itself?
Yeah, those ones.
Yes, down Stemmer Road.
Thing is that is part of Essex or Braintree, is it?
No. You don't get so far into Essex. Sturmer Bridge, you come up underneath the bridge going to Sturmer, and it's on the left-hand side in front of that first house.
By Spring. By
Yes,
Spring-
Essex, yeah, it is.
by Spring Cottage.
McDonald's is in Essex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
What's the golf course, is it?
You mean it go underneath the bridge, going like coming down to the petrol station? Those houses on the left?
No, they're not. No, they're
Oh,
No, no,
by Mott's Field.
Huh?
By Mott's Field, it is.
further back this way.
Right back this way?
Yeah.
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 Near the roundabout. is it?
Where those yellow sign pointers are.
Yeah.
Pothole.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's been reported.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so Councillor, sorry, Chair.
Yeah, Councillor Mason.
Sorry. So Councillor Roach would be the one to chase the local highways officer. I don't know if the planning committee wants to get in contact with Councillor Roach. I'm more than happy to have a chat with him about those concerns. The other one, along Withersfield Road, you said, whereabouts was
Dudley
it?
Hill.
On Dudley Hill.
And Dudley Hill.
Okay.
On the right hand side,
Okay.
going up to the petrol station.
So those
Yeah,
people
that's been reported as well.
Because I do recommend, I mean, I have chats with highways on a regular basis, and not all potholes they are aware of, and I would recommend to everybody, councillors and residents, to try and use the Suffolk Highways reporting tool. It's not perfect, but it's probably what we've got. I will go up there tonight, I'll have a look, and I will get onto highways to talk about that.
Very dangerous.
Yeah, they've been reported then to you.
Yes, but I will chase it tomorrow.
I think this one was only reported
It's very...
yesterday, was it? The day before?
5th of...
Very dangerous.
These ones?
5th of February, that was reported. Yeah.
12.
That one. I don't know about the
12.
other one, Sturm
Should
one.
call it off.
5 days ago.
The Dudley Hill one has
Yeah,
on the
Dudley
field.
Hill, yeah.
What's the Sturm one? You go to that.
The Chair, I just want to give you the reassurance that I'll chase that with highways tomorrow.
Yes,
Well,
5th.
The works have been ordered for that.
Oh, the works have been ordered for the Sturm one.
Uh-huh.
But the other Dudley Hill
Three
hasn't.
weeks.
I'll look at it tonight.
Yeah, but need
They've
urgently attention.
there's no reaction.
No. Right, okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Number 9.
Item 9, to consider street trading licence. We haven't got any. Item 10, matters to report. Councillor Smith and then Councillor Brown.
Just to say that the management side of the our application in for that, I haven't had a chance to look in a bit closely, but
Sorry, where was it?
St John Hammond side on
Burton
I saw it.
or Yellow Gardens, I think they actually turn it as.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, that'll come before us before long.
Next time.
Councillor Brown.
Yeah, still chase a couple of items with planning. If you remember the application around Sturmer Road Garage, we put in an objection because we weren't happy with the fuelling arrangements. The fuel tanker divided the site up and was filling up the tanks. Well, with a bit of hard work, etc., we managed to get a condition and they agreed to move the refuelling point to the side so that the tanker wouldn't interfere with the ongoing operation of the garage, etc. Anyway, twice I've come past and the tanker's in there filling up and it's using the old refuelling point, it's not using the new one. So I've reported it to planning twice. They said they're going to look into it, but they haven't got back. They said they're going to contact the site owner, but they haven't come back with what's going on, which is quite disturbing. And the thing is, the new fueling point has still got plastic bags over the tops of things, so they have never been used, as far as I can see. So I don't know what is going on, but so anyway, I'm in the process of chasing that. And also the signs I've chased on the roundabouts to see what planning permission is or whatever is required, and still waiting an answer back from West Suffolk on that one at the moment. But I'm not holding out my hopes anyway. Pardon?
I thought we had heard back from Penny Mills confirming that they did need planning permission, because the Suffolk Highways have said it's our roundabouts, you don't need planning permission. Yes, you do. And Penny Mills came back and said, yes, we're in contact with them.
Oh right, maybe I missed that meeting. It's a meeting that I wasn't at.
Yeah. That was something, I don't think it's been really, but I saw an email to Vicky.
Yeah, the thing is that they haven't responded to myself, which is...
I don't know.
I find out the planning.
Yeah, so...
Okay. Councillor Mason and Councillor Burns.
Just to bring to the council's attention that Persimmon have now submitted their final set of planning documents for phases, and that's 4A, 4B, 5B, which now completes the Persimmon estate. The school will be built by Suffolk County Council, and I'd like, Chair, if it's possible, Colin, we could arrange another meeting, because we held a meeting where we discussed the proposals for the school and the community room, and I'm kind of a little bit nervous with what is happening with local government reorganisation. I'd like that kind of solidified before there's any changes of plan or changes of structure. The Cato are the road construction company for doing the relief road. They are now on site. They've built a compound, and I've been reliably informed that we're still on for a spring opening. I'm anticipating probably early summer. If we have a wet March, or it's a long sort of snow, then I can foresee there may be a few weeks, but it's actually out of Persimmon's hands now. It's Cato are the construction company, and they are now on site and hopefully cracking on. And I was approached by Councillor Brown, but I know Councillor Burns is interested in this, regarding the naming of the relief road of Regiment Way, Suffolk Regiment Way. I wonder whether it would be better, Councillor Brown, whether the town clerk, if you're willing, to contact Persimmon to see what sort of arrangements, and also I think it's now Charlotte Wall who's taken over from Penny. Penny has been promoted, so it's now Charlotte Wall who is the planning officer, to talk about how that can be planned. My preference, believe it or not, would be to do a naming ceremony before the road is opened, and not necessarily to do it at the same time. But I'm happy for the town council to arrange that. As ward member, I don't really need to get involved, although I'd happily support it.
Councillor Burns?
Yeah, it's something I organised about 4 years ago, to be honest with you. The priority is actually the Royal Anglian Regiment. It's nothing to do with councils or anything like that. The problem is that we keep organising something and then it gets delayed and that battalion or whatever they're called get moved. So, for example, the first battalion are now in Cyprus. So I have been in contact with the latest Royal Anglian person, and he just said you need to give us lots and lots of notice for an official opening, because the idea, and we had agreed that they would march the road as part of the opening ceremony, and the Persimmon know that. Planners know that as well, and more importantly Suffolk Highways know that, because they're going to have to renumber the road as well, because it's going to become the 143, and the existing 143 south of the road will become a B road.
Do you mind if I just come back?
Yes, Councillor Mason.
Before you carry on. I've not been party to any conversations about this. Now, I'm not necessarily saying I should, but I talk a lot with highways and a lot with West Suffolk regarding the Relief Road. So it makes me a little bit nervous that it hasn't been mentioned or brought up. So I'm more than happy to do that on your behalf in the informal conversations.
Well, they know all about it because I keep reminding them about it.
Okay.
And I think it's more the case of, you know, it's being called Suffolk Regiment Way for a reason, and obviously the successor to the Suffolks are the first Royal Anglians. So that was the plan, and that's why we obviously named all the roads after World War I and World War II veterans as well, including Girtins, of course, on the other side of the slope.
Councillor Brown?
Yeah, so that was sort of what was making me a little bit nervous. That it's been going for 4 years and there's been delays and delays, and what John brought it up, well, say 4 years ago, and hadn't really heard much about it. And I know officers change, etc., etc. So, yeah, that's a way of just making sure it does happen in some form or other. But obviously, we need to invite the Suffolk Regiment Association,
all those people,
that sort of thing.
Museum.
And at least, if we've got a road sign there or something that can be unveiled. If they unveil the road sign and then whoever it is opens the road at the same time, it could be a combined, thing. But
it'd be nice March.
It'd be nice to actually have people of the town have been working so long for this. It'd be really nice to see it come forward. So,
always been quicker than this.
And Joe will be so glad.
I'm just nervous, but I've not had a whisper of it.
No.
And I'm talking to those people who really should know. And it might be that it's just not at the forefront of their minds.
No, I think it's a minor thing as far as they're concerned. They just get the road open.
But as long as we all know about it, and that's great that you know about it now, Joe, and we all sort of aim for the same thing. It's gets done. That's the main thing at the end of the day. So.
You just got to keep on keeping on, really.
And I found that over the
Which
years,
is
you've got to keep on because officers change, people go. So
councils change.
Right, I've got one from Charlotte Warren coming today. It's a reconsultation on application received to West Suffolk Council from Redrow. It's a reserved matters application. Submission of details under outline planning permission in relation to Spur Road to the south of parcel A7. The means of access, appearance, landscaping, layout and scale. residential development of 2,500 units, 2 primary schools, 2 local centres including retail, community and employment use. Wow. This is open space as well, landscaping, associated infrastructure, discharge of conditions. This is all going to come to planning, hopefully next month. This is the reason they sent it to me is because I'm a ward member and they wanted me to put a comment in. Now I did put a comment in, but it was about the 2 schools, which I know, and I said that this is, but I want to do it all the time, constantly, because I want this to happen, and because it mentions schools, so I've used that part of it. I want a drop-off point because I said into my email to them that we've had nothing but problems with Westfield as far as dropping off. They want to take a leaf out of the Sammy Ward, where they've got a drop-off point. I have not personally had a complaint for any of the residents. But since Westfield, I've had nothing but complaints, even for the new part of the Red Road that's been built, about, you know, the cars being parked in their drives and what have you. So I'm going to keep on, as you say, keeping on. So anyway, this is going to come to planning committee. I don't know if it's going to be next month or what. I don't know. Councillor Burns.
Okay, let's start with that one. This is not anything to do with the houses, the school or anything like this. It's an application. No. This is a spur road. That's all it is. Yeah. The decision about the school and everything has already been done. Outline in the master plan. We've already decided there's going to be 2 schools and everything. The schools are years off yet, to be honest with you. The school doesn't have to be built until there's 1,000 houses built. Red Road are only going to build no more than 900 at the most. You know, things like the country park are in it and all that sort of stuff. So this is just purely that spur road between the end of what's coming round from phases 1, 2, 3 and 4, going round to 8, up north of Green Road. I looked at it yesterday, it looked okay actually to me, it looked fine. They're going to only put a wide footpath on the northern side, not the southern side, because there's not enough land. I don't think that makes much difference. So it will come, it should come to planning next time, so I've just mentioned that. And obviously the parking at Westfield, I've been going on about it. The verge up outside Westfield now is just being wrecked again. But luckily there's a traffic regulation order just about to be implemented, so hopefully we'll get some CPE up there and start issuing tickets to all these people who are parking illegally up on the Donovan Way and all those other roads along the new estate, so that'll be good. I've got a couple of things. First of all, Penny and Charlotte are both still doing both estates at the moment, just let you know. And Rachel Armand went off to work at Lakenheath, somewhere on They're resurfacing Millfields Way at the moment, or part of Millfields Way, near Girton Road, which is great. I think they should have done the western end of it, because there's far more potholes there, but why they've done it up that end, I don't know. But what's really annoying is walking down from my house, you get to Millfields Way, you cannot cross the road, because they've got taped barriers going for about 400 yards. So the only way to get round them is you have to walk about 200 yards up the road to cross the road and come back down again at the pedestrian crossing there. You know, I'm sorry, Master, you know, get your act together and sort this out with highways, you know. And there's nobody there. They've all gone over the line. So why not open it up again for let pedestrians cross? You know, so. The other question I was going to ask everybody, or who's on West Suffolk, is can we find out definitively what's happening about the Fox pub and the Vixen pub? I get so many complaints about nothing happening, particularly about the Vixen in Millfields Way. I've asked Penny a few months ago, because she was looking after it. Yeah. No answers.
Yeah, I've been on and on and on.
But we need to sort it out. My view is it was bought for £310,000. I had the press on to me last week as well, which is actually way below what the auction value, what auction figure that someone bid. They bid 460,000 and it refused. So I don't know what's going on there. People have reported rats in there. I don't know why there would be rats in there necessarily, because there's no food in there as far as I'm aware. So that may be just a misnomer. But it's, you know, it's a blight on the area, particularly that one, and of course the other one, as what you were saying about entrance to towns. You know, you've got the epicentre there, but look at the one up the north by that nice shopping. Yeah. So if we can do something, can we?
Can we get the town council to write about them two
I think
areas?
local councillors should do it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, we have. We've brought it up at every opportunity. We
You
had
know,
a planning meeting and I brought it up about, you know, why can't we do anything around this, and oh, well, there's plans in the thing, it's very difficult to do, etc.
See, it's private. They're private. So
But-
that's what they keep saying. They're private, and they can't do anything
But-
about it because
Well,
it's
if
private.
it's surrounded by council land. It's actually
Yeah, it may well be, but it's private in that part. That's not that part of their land, is it?
Yeah.
The only option, and I've been pushing for that option, is to buy it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I asked them to
But-
buy it 6-7 years ago and they refused. I asked
That's what I mean.
Haverhill to buy it.
Well,
I
they've
asked
still got
Barley
that.
Homes to buy them.
We've still got that attitude.
But more importantly, one thing on particularly the Vixen
Yeah.
is the steps that lead down from the car park are owned by that same private person. The number of people, well, I know the shop there, in the last 2 months, there's been 2 cases of elderly people falling down. One have required a A&E visit because one, there's no lighting, but 2, also, you know, the state of the place.
No, I should bring that up.
Yeah.
Because that's
But I've
enforceable.
reported that as well, but they don't seem to worry about it too much. Oh, it's not our land, you know.
Yeah, but enforcement can do something.
Enforcement, who are they? Yeah.
Councillor Mason.
Okay, regarding the fox, it's not on my patch, so to speak, but I've had lots of feedback from the Persimmon site and the Boyton Hall estate, who would desperately like to see it turn into a gastropub. I co-wrote letters with our MP to many of the national chains of gastropubs, and got very little interest back other than Green King, and I think one other that suggested that the amount of covers that site offered in terms of how many customers could actually sit in didn't make it economically viable at the moment. I mean, the sum of the fox, as it was a relatively small site, and you know, I think it's quite a tough time for the gastropub industry, and there doesn't seem to be much appetite at all. Now, I don't know if it's related, but I'm expecting to hear in the coming weeks which company is going to be taking on the supermarket within the Persimmon site. But bizarrely, I was contacted by a national chain, supermarket chain, saying that they thought they'd identified a site in Haverhill that they would like to talk to me about. Now, why they need to talk to me about it, I don't know, but me being nosy, I'm more than happy to meet with anybody. I will find it astonishing if another application wasn't put in for the fox put for a convenience store, which then puts me, I mean, it's not in my ward, so, but much as I would like it to be a gastropub, we can't keep denying planning applications for that piece of land. Although when I did speak with planners, they suggested that even without the Costa drive-through that was suggested the last time that went to planning, they still think it's an inappropriate location for the impact that it would have on the other local centres, and actually its location so close to the roundabout still not being ideal. So I've got no idea. I've yet to meet the national chain to find out what they want to ask me regarding whatever site they've planned. But I suspect there may be another application for Foxborough,
Yeah.
if I was to guess.
Okay, Councillor Smith and Councillor Brown.
Yeah, jog my memory actually. I was contacted by Chris about the Fox before Christmas on yours, and it's on right move, and it has been marketed as a pub/restaurant, which is what we want to see there. But as you say, at the end of the day, we need something on that side. I don't think it's appropriate for a convenience store though. The reasons we stated when we objected to it, but yeah, we need the other sort of done.
Thank you. Councillor Brown.
Yeah, it just seems to have dragged on for so long now that, yeah, potentially, and it does look in a dangerous and very dilapidated condition, and it isn't great on the gateway at all. I just wondered if the actual present owner would consider knocking it down, you know. At least if it's just an empty site, it wouldn't look so bad.
Is it the Pellies?
No.
Yeah.
Used to be Green King, didn't it, one time?
No.
No?
No, I just wondered as a town council if you could actually find out who actually owns it and send them a letter and ask them, you know, if they would
I
consider
think I've got the land
knocking it
registry.
down.
Vested.
I thought it was the Pellies.
It's difficult to
Vested
find.
within.
No,
That's John Knowles who owns it.
Do you know who owns it, John?
who owns what, the
The site?
Fox? The Fox?
Fox, yeah.
Who did you just say?
I didn't tell if it's just been.
Oh, right, okay, sorry.
No, he doesn't own it.
It used to be owned by Daniel Hannon. He sold it to Vesti,
Yeah, that's
who refused to make it into a pub because he wanted it for the site for the roundabout. Let's just buy it. They refused that because they said no, the roundabout had to be on your land, And then it was sold to somebody who lives in Braintree, somewhere near Braintree. Then he got the planning permission for the pub, then immediately sold it to somebody else, which I can't remember the name of them. So it's owned by another party altogether. But I was about to say the new plans for the pub that were approved would double the size of the Fox pub. So there's a hell of a lot more tables in there. And there was interest from a company that did it. Then I think the guy sold the land and it all fell through. You know, there were a lot of rumours going around. It wasn't the one that was in the rumours on Facebook. It was another company. But I agree with what the planner said. You know, if you put a convenience store there, it would destroy the two local centres that are going to be on the estates, particularly the Great Wolsey one. That's only about 200 yards down the road.
Okay.
What's that, could we find from the land registry or something?
I think I've got it. I think I've got the latest one.
Yeah, could we possibly
I always spend my £3.
send them a letter to say, you know, would you consider demolition?
I'll have a look at my diary in my.
Right. Okay, can I have a seconder for that? You're proposing that, yeah?
Yeah, I'm proposing it, yeah.
Councillor Brown, seconder for Councillor Cox. All those in favour, please show.
I might give it.
Okay, thank you. Right,
Thank you.
item 11, which is the date of the next meeting, which is Monday, the 10th of March. Thank you. And item 12, which is closure, and that is 8:30